Welcome to the show, Meeting Interesting People. Today my guest, Sergey Antonov. I just don't want to say too much because you will be explaining why I invited you over, because it's an honor, really. Because I know you just came back from the concert in South Carolina. You were playing with a trio. And then I was at the Boston Ballet, where you were performing right on stage with the ballet dancers. And you can tell a little bit more because it's very unusual, right?
It is. I mean, it's a great experience for me. It's something that we did 3 years ago. The premiere was back in 2015, and the company decided to repeat it. Which
here in Boston?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is an honor for me that they invited me back, and it's a wonderful experience. It's new for me, fairly new, and very, very interesting.
So we have another 2 shows in April.
Well, we have another 5.
5 in April. Well, in total 5, right?
In total 5 left.
Yeah, and I think it's 2 in April.
2 in April. Yes.
Okay. So, and I know that you came from the musical family. So your
That's
dad was cellist. Your mom is cellist.
In fact, I studied with my mother for the first 12 years.
Right. We will be talking about that too a little bit later. But we need to tell our viewers that just recently you finished your festival you organized in Moscow.
In Moscow.
Yeah, please tell about that.
That's quite a new experience for me because I'm not only a participant or a soloist or a musician. I'm also an artistic director.
You were conducting there also.
And I'm also conducting there, yeah. It's new, it's wonderful experience. It's very interesting to work with musicians from a different perspective rather than being just partners on stage. It's a lot of work, as I discovered.
Do you have a team who were helping you?
Yes, of course. There's a main director of the festival. I'm the artistic director, and we have a couple more people working basically year-round on the festival.
So this was the second time?
This was the second time, yeah. And we already working on the third festival, and it's new.
How will you come up with the idea? I mean, you said it's one song, but still.
The idea was sort of brewing for many, many years.
Oh.
I was looking around at my colleagues that I'm sharing the stage all the time with, and for now, after the second festival, we only have Russian musicians over there. Mm. But of course, we're looking forward to expand it, making it an international festival. It's not always easy, but we're looking forward to it.
And what music mostly you are playing?
It's mostly classical romantic period. Mm-hmm. The specific thing about the festival that the artists who are playing taking an active role in putting together the program of the festival, which I really admire and want to continue to do so. And so going back to my colleagues, I was looking at all of them separately because I'm working with different people in different settings and different concerts. And I always was thinking that it'll be so great to put them and get them all together. Mm-hmm. We trying for now to stay with a specific generation.
Which is what? 30s?
30, between 30s and 40s, yes.
I see.
And it's great. I mean, for me, it's an incredible experience, and we're doing the second evening. It's consists of 3 evenings, 2 evenings with the symphony orchestra and chamber music, concert, which we're probably gonna try to alter to a different forms. And it's amazing. I mean, some of the people that I'm playing with during the festival I haven't played for years, and just to see them grow up into amazing musicians,
And I
it's
think
incredible.
some of them are your close friends, right?
Yeah, most of them.
Most
Well,
of them.
all of them are
I see.
more or less close friends. You know, we know each other since we were kids.
Yeah, but is that help that you were a winner of the first place as an international Tchaikovsky competition?
I don't really think it helps. With the festival, it's different, and you know, I'm looking back 10, 11 years now at the competition. It was a long time ago.
Right,
It's
right.
one of the highlights of my career.
And that's how you start actively touring, or you were touring previously also?
Not really. I was touring before. Then I don't know whether it's connected or not, and that's sort of a.
But people get acquainted with your name. Oh, we know Sergey Antonov.
It helps with a name recognition, I
Yeah.
believe, but then a lot of young musicians, and especially myself as well, we have a misunderstanding of the competition. Not only Tchaikovsky competition, any major competition, that it's going to launch your career. And I'm not saying that every young musician starts to relax a bit after that, but it's just the beginning. It's just a way to work harder and to find yourself and progress as a musician. The competition, if somebody puts hopes on the competitions, in my experience, it's a mistake.
So let's talk about the Newport Festival.
So the Newport Music Festival, well, actually, the main thing about this coming year is that it's a celebration of the 50th year. It's a big deal. Also, the festival is going on in the beautiful historic mansions, and it's a wonderful settings for the concerts.
So what do you know the dates? July?
Yeah, we're starting on July 4th.
July 4th, okay.
And it's going to go all the way through July 23rd.
Oh,
I think
it's like 3
22nd.
weeks?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
3 weeks, 2.5 weeks more or less,
Okay.
with 2 to 3 concerts a day.
And it's, oh, okay. So it's a day concert, evening concert?
It's morning, usually we have 11
morning.
a.m., something like 4 p.m.,
Okay.
and 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., depending on what's going on. And it's all chamber music in different forms and kinds, and recitals, and all the way to...
Is it international?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we have musicians all over the place, and it's a wonderful festival.
Okay. But in between this time, you probably have something else, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it?
Um,
So you finish in
I'm
the
finishing
middle of
with
April,
Boston Ballet, and then the Hermitage Piano Trio. That's
And who is Hermitage Piano?
Hermitage Piano Trio is Misha Kaling, who lives in New York, the violinist,
Okay.
myself, and Ilya Kazantsev, who's a pianist.
Well, we need to tell our viewers, where do you live right now?
I
Because
live
we're-
in New York.
New York,
yeah,
okay. Because before you were in Boston, now
I
you're
used to
in
be,
New York.
yes.
Okay.
Ilya actually lives in Boston, and he is my friend since third grade.
Oh.
We go all the way back to Moscow. We went to school together, and I'm very
Yeah, so you
happy.
graduated Moscow Conservatory, we need to tell our
Yep,
viewers.
Central Music School, then
Right.
Moscow Conservatory, then graduate school in Moscow Conservatory, and then graduate school in London School of Music in Boston.
Right.
So yeah, we touring a lot. We recorded our first album.
So that's your permanent group.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, and we recorded our first album back in September. We're still working on it. Hopefully, it's going to be released in the fall.
So we will give your website, and we try to tell people that they can find your music on YouTube, and
Yep.
we will use as well. And probably many people recognize that you play the first suite by Bach, or Prelude, which one of the opening at the
ballet.
Boston
yeah.
Ballet also. So, and now I know you have another passion, that's cooking.
Well, it's more like a hobby. I wouldn't call it a passion yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it's
I know you mentioned that it's something interesting involved in this situation because it didn't come up just as it is, right? So something is behind.
I can't really recall a specific reason why it started. It was just something that I started doing, and I really enjoy doing it.
How did you learn? Through the books,
Oh
internet?
no, I didn't learn it all.
Oh,
And
so you just, it's a fantasy?
it is. I just come
Okay.
up with a dish and then I cook it every night when I can.
Yeah.
And it's just something that sort of comforts me.
Okay.
And
So I hope we will show some pictures for our viewers also, that they can enjoy, because it's like a piece of art. I mean, I maybe don't like some ingredients, but it's look like a piece of art.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, you know. And when I cook, the plating of the dish is part of fun.
Do they have names?
No, not really.
Like-
No, it's not that serious. No,
Okay.
it's just some fun thing to do at night, you know.
Okay. I thought maybe like Allegro.
No.
Okay. And now, of course, we need to tell our viewers how you become a musician. We mentioned about your parents, but now you will tell us. I remember a wonderful story how to Sergey, let's go play soccer, and you said, I can't.
I
need
can't. I
to
have
practice."
to practice. Yeah. Well, I started when I was 5.5. I come from a cello family. My late father was a cellist, and my mother is still teaching for 38 years now in Central Music School in Moscow.
And I think this is first time when she started teaching little ones, right? Like 3, 4 years old? I was seeing pictures, very little kids.
She is developing her method furthermore. It's individual when you start. When she started with me, I was 5.5,
Right.
and that's when she thought I was ready. And she taught me for 12 years. It was quite
And I know
a-
she did a lot of arrangements for you. The piano music, she converted to
Yes,
cello pieces.
yes. She still does that for her students, younger students, and she puts together little ensembles and
So after 12 years, you went. You already were in a music school at that time.
well, she started me
She was a,
since the first grade.
right. I mean, you were in the music school.
Yes.
And then after music school, you went to
Conservatory.
conservatory.
Yeah, it's 12.
No, but the music college between conservatory.
No. We have 11 grades.
Oh, yeah, that's the
In Central
school.
Music School.
It's Central Music School.
Yep, and then you
correct.
go
Yeah,
directly
yeah.
to conservatory.
Right,
And
right.
I started conservatory back in 2001 with Natalia Shakovskaya, unfortunately, who passed away recently. Studied with her for 5 years.
And then you married cellist who become a doctor.
Yes.
So
yes.
she's what's the name of the, I forgot what's the right name for this her degree.
She is emergency medicine resident
Oh
at
my
this
God,
point.
yeah. Okay. And we just discussed before the program that your son, who's 7,
Seven
Yeah.
and a half.
but he's playing piano at the moment.
He is at the moment, yes.
Yeah, and we know, I know that your mom, she was a pianist also at the beginning,
Yes,
and then she decided that she would be a cellist. But and your grandmother is a pianist.
yes.
So, and what about grandfather? Is a musician?
No, he was a mathematician and
Oh.
physicist.
Okay. So if you guys continue like that, that will be another box. soon.
We'll see. You know?
7 generations.
Yeah,
So
we'll see.
okay. So and of course, tell us about how it's difficult to keep up with all your schedule. You have such a tight schedule. And find the way that you go and travel, diving, and make a photographs.
Yeah.
That's another hobby or passion.
Yeah, I have several of those, and I consider it to be a part of a profession. It's something that we always mobile, we always go places, we always spend a major part of our lives on the planes, in the hotels. And it's tough. It's not easy because you're away from home
Yeah.
all the time. But it's something that I really, really enjoy.
Are you considered to teach? someday?
Um,
And where?
I didn't get to that point. I mean, I do
Uh-huh.
private teaching and I do
Right.
master classes all the time
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that. But until I have power and energy to travel and
So you
play,
continue to travel,
I want to
right?
do that.
Well, tell us about, you mentioned, I thought that's all, that cooking and diving and photography, but you said you have many. What is that?
Not many, several. Yeah, one of the major hobbies that I recently picked up, fairly recently, a couple of years ago, is mountain climbing,
Oh,
and it's something that is very deep inside me, and I always wanted to do it. I never had a possibility to do it. You know,
Oh,
when I was
okay.
a student, it's a fairly expensive sport, and scuba diving that I also picked up fairly recently, maybe 5-6 years ago.
hmm
Yeah, so.
So what places you are going for mountain climbing?
Well, we have a lot, you know, White Mountains and New
Oh,
Hampshire.
you mean
and
here?
all over the place.
Oh.
I have another climb coming up in May in Russia,
Okay.
in Russian region, and it's something that is really hard to find time for,
Yeah.
and you have to be in shape, in really good shape. But it's a wonderful experience. It gives me a lot of inspiration, a lot of energy to keep going, and something that I hope we'll be doing for a long time.
So how you re-energize yourself after, let's say, I don't know how much energy, for example, takes this performing on a stage in Boston Ballet Opera House.
A lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what concert you're playing.
Yeah.
It takes a lot from you, and I'm turned out to be that kind of person that I need an active hobby to sort of reset myself rather than, you know, lying on a couch in front of the TV, and whatever works for anybody, you know.
Right.
For somebody that works.
Yeah,
For somebody
what is what work for you?
something active. I need to
Oh.
do something. I need to take my mind off the instrument, off the music, and it's really hard to do. I mean, I don't know for example, I don't know any classical musician who's listening to classical music for pleasure. You know, it's impossible because your brain just starts to work and analyze and whatever it is. So it's something, camping, diving, climbing, you know, it's something that takes my mind completely off and still re-energize me for the future.
Of course, we need to talk about your friend, your cello. It's a special instrument, like any other instrument for performers. So, and I know you like very much, and it's not a very famous master, right?
Yeah, it's a known French instrument,
Uh-huh.
probably the end of 19th century. My dear friend for this year, 20 years.
Uh-huh.
My family got it for me 20 years ago, and I'm with it all my life, professional life. So I won the Tchaikovsky competition on it, and
So
hopefully.
where did you buy it? You buy it here?
No, I bought it in Moscow, back in
In
Moscow.
Moscow.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
okay.
only 14
Oh,
when we bought it.
okay.
It was a different instrument. I mean, I've done a lot of work on it. And
So, and in general, what kind of instrument people looking for, like performers like you? They're looking for very old or a specific master or country or?
well, it's a tough question because for the string player, the instrument is your voice.
Right.
And of course, we have really famous names like Stradivarius
Right.
and Guarneri and Guadagnini and so forth. Unfortunately for us, it's a very highly expensive market. So not a lot of people can afford those big instruments. But I know a lot of my colleagues who are string players who choose modern instruments nowadays. They are affordable. They're great instruments. But mainly it's about sound. Mainly it's what
Right.
you're looking for in the sound, and what you can do with it. And I've tried several very famous makers in my life, and they are not easy to play on. They're very demanding. They have hundreds and hundreds of years of history, and
Do you know previous owner of yours?
I do.
Is anybody famous played on?
No,
No?
no, not really. And it turned out to be a family friend, which we found out later. So no, there's nothing really famous about it.
Well, she got you, so. Well, I think we cover all these interesting aspects of your life, and it was, for me, it was interesting that I was seeing you in the same outfit on the Boston stage, that it's a black shirt, and that's how I remember you perform some other places. So it's your
Right.
favorite outfit? Black?
Yeah, many years ago, I chose not to wear jackets. They're just too heavy, and,
Oh, yeah.
and it's not comfortable.
Right.
And it's something, yeah, it's something that is just going on for years.
No, but conducting, you were having a different outfit, where you were conducting in Moscow. Is that correct?
No,
No?
it's pretty much
Same?
the same shirt. Yeah, I don't conduct that much to have a
Yeah.
separate outfit for it yet.
I see. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And I know it's a tight schedule, and you have a very limited time to rest. So I'm really appreciated that
Thank you so much for having
came
me. Thank you.
to talk with us. Thank you.
Thank you.